If this is your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Oriana, and this is Multilingual Diaries, your place to learn languages. I've learned two languages by myself, and I'm going to show you how I did it without making it so complicated. So the first thing you gotta do is to set a structure. For example, if you start by just using a random app like Duolingo or Tandem, or we have many apps. I don't even know. I don't like learning apps. But if you start using a learning app, the problem is that you won't have like a structure. You will just learn random words without a context. So what I would suggest to start is to set a structure, and you can do this by choosing a book. You don't have to stick to the book in the sense that you only have to study from the book, but the book can help you to know where to start, like to get a structure to follow and know the things that you have to learn step by step. I did that when I was learning Italian. I downloaded this book and I used to study a bit from the book, a bit from the internet, so it was, I think, a very good strategy. Number two, you have to start speaking right away. And I know this may sound difficult because, okay, you're going to say, how am I supposed to start speaking right away if I don't know anything about that new language? Start using the first words that you start learning, even if you start mixing it with another language. I know, like, some people would say, okay, you have to completely talk on the foreign language that you're learning, but that is almost impossible at the beginning because, like, inevitably your brain will translate and will try to use the language that you already speak. I did it when I was learning French, when I was learning Italian, and it's just a simple way to learn. So start using the words that you know, start creating short phrases, start trying to like figure out the words that you use the most and try to learn those words so you can start using them in your speaking. It's gonna sound cringe at the beginning, like you're going to feel a bit cringe when you're going to start like talking in that new language, but you have to embrace the cringe, like there's no other way. But trust me, that's gonna help you unblock the speaking, so you will be able to speak faster than if you would focus on grammar at the beginning and then maybe in the future when you know the grammar structure using it, because in the end structures and rules and everything, yeah, they're important, but the goal is to know how to communicate, right? So mm, even if you use the wrong grammar structure, I think the goal is actually communicating. Number three, and this is something that I did without even knowing how the method was called, but it's the shadowing method. I think the shadowing method, it's like a total game changer. What you will do is that you will listen to podcasts or watch TV series or movies or whatever, but with the intention of taking, short phrases from those TV series, for example, and repeating it. I did it a lot when I moved to Italy. I used to listen what other people would say and just repeat that. So if you ask me, for example, I don't know, the tense that I'm using at a certain phrase, I don't know. I don't know. I just heard it from a random person and I know that's the right way to say it, and that's it. This rule may not apply every time because when I got to Italy, I used to work as an au pair. So I worked with children and they were learning to speak as well. And they used to say things sometimes in a wrong way. So, for example, I remember my host kid would say, ho corruto, and I would say, like, ho corruto, and it's actually ho corso because correre, it's an irregular verb in the past. So yeah, I learned some wrong structures at the beginning, but because I was copying children and not adults. So pay attention to what you do and try to every now and then check a bit on the grammar. But the shadowing method, it's a great method to actually starting to use phrases and talking as a native speaker. And then last but not least, you have to be constant. Like, you have to be constant and you have to be patient because it's not gonna take like 2 days. So learning a new language on your own is about strategy, it's about being constant, and it's about being patient because um, all humans, we all have different ways to digest information in our brains. So I remember when I was at university, for example, I chose English and French, and I struggled so bad with French. Like I couldn't. Like I focused a lot on grammar at the beginning, and then I couldn't talk. So it was very frustrating because I used to see other classmates that would, easily talk, and it was very frustrating. But I realized that, for example, in English, I was able to talk and learn, but I saw other classmates that would struggle a lot with English. So what I'm trying to mean is, don't push yourself that much. Like, it's gonna take time, and for some people it takes longer, for some other people it takes less time. So just embrace the fact that it's a different process for everybody. And an extra one, try to figure out what is your learning method. And I have spoken about this in other videos that I have in Spanish. But we have like learning methods, like if you are kinesthetic, if you're auditive, if you're visual. So try to know which is your learning method, like your learning style, and use that to your favor. Like, for example, I'm a very auditive person. Like, I remember what other people say. Like, for example, when I was at school, like in high school, I used to remember way better if someone would talk about a certain topic. I don't know, if I had an exam, it was better for me if I would listen to someone talking about the topic than maybe reading it, or just, studying it by myself, like just, reading about the topic. So try to know, which learning style you have, and use that one to try to learn that new language. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you liked the video. If you're curious about how I learned French and Italian, I have posted these videos where I explain it in French and Italian, so you can go and watch it. And that's it. I hope to see you next time in another video. And thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button. And see you next time. Bye bye.